Hey, Wonder Women. Welcome back to another episode of Wonder Women Who Build. I'm your host, Carrie Moreau, and today's episode is vulnerable. This isn't a story about a highlight reel. It is about a hard lesson, one that's brought me face to face with what happens when your heart leads the higher and your systems aren't strong enough to catch the fall. So we're calling this episode Grace with Guardrails because as women who lead, build, and nurture, we often extend grace, but without the guardrails of structure, boundaries, and accountability, grace can cost us more than we ever intended to give. But before we get started, I'm going to share my win of this week. So it is that I'm speaking out loud what I used to hide. So I'm reclaiming the wisdom that came from pain, and I'm no longer ashamed of the lessons that leadership has taught me through failure. And to me, that feels like growth, and that also feels like freedom. So now I want to hear your win. Share it on Instagram and tag at Wonder Women Who Build using our hashtag Wonder Women Who Build. I'd love to celebrate you. So one of the things I want to share with you, Wonder Women, is that when you're beginning to build your businesses, maybe there's multiple. I say multiple because I've owned multiple. So you'll have different experiences with each business that you build, like when you have multiple children or different people in your life you have relationships with. Each time you build that and you start it out, it's going to start a little bit different. So you have your basics you're going to bring with you. But I know what I did and what I repeated over and over again. There's some things that worked, that served me really well, and there's some things that didn't work. But out of habit, I repeated them. So one of the things that I just recently understood about myself is that through every business that I have started from scratch, I brought people with me that I felt that aligned with the goals that I had at the time. So whether they were really strong in sales, they were really good communicators, they were really good at building relationships, they were good networkers, or maybe I just enjoyed being around them. Somebody that understood technology, somebody that understood marketing. There's people in your space that you live your life with that you see those qualities in them and you're like, wow, this person would be really great. And I would love to bring them on board my team. And in some of those businesses with hiring those people closest to me, some of them worked out. But the ones that didn't are the ones that sit with you the deepest. Because I want you to consider if you bring this person into your team, and if things aren't spelt out properly, if you're too graceful or you swing too big or whatever it is you're doing, are you okay with this person not being a part of your life at the end of the day if something goes awry? And if you look at that person and analyze the relationship and how deeply woven you are together, and you say, there's no way I would ever consider parting ways with this person, don't hire them. Just don't do it. Because your business will be able to recruit great people that you've never met yet. And some of the best hires I've had are from people that I've never met. They found our job hiring online. They filled an application. They set an appointment. They came in. We interviewed. We looked at their resume. We followed all those steps. And they were great hires that worked really well in our business. So I'm not saying that you can't bring people close to you on board. Like I have a good friend of mine that he owns a business and there's 5 partners in the business and they were all friends they grew up together. They've known each other for years and years. And these 5 people came together, formed a company, and they're doing amazing. And they've got a lot of the kinks worked out. But I'm saying that words, take some words from someone who has journeyed in a different way that it didn't necessarily work out that way. Because at the end of the day, if you can't find a way to make it work in your mind of parting ways with this person or you don't think you could work out a situation where if they didn't work for you anymore, that you would still be able to be friends or money, maybe it was a situation that it came down to like discrepancies about pay or commissions or, someone wasn't honest. Like, how would you hold them accountable for those things? And if you don't feel that they're a person that you can hold them accountable, move on and don't hire them. Or maybe you just hire them for contract work for a season and help them out in a situation because I want to extend grace and be kind and share the opportunities I have within my business with people that need it. And sometimes there's someone close to me that's in a job transition that needs a job and I can provide it. Like I want to give to the people that are closest to me with the things that I can offer. And so grace with guardrails is so important. So if you have all those things in place, then you can part ways and maybe stay connected and stay friends and mend whatever took place in the work environment. The other thing I want to talk about too is that I own a family-owned business. So there's 4 family members that we are all, 2 of them are employees and 2 of us are owners, but we're all 4 there together. So another thing I would suggest as a business owner is to having a resource within your company that is external from your company, that is an HR consultant. So there are fractional or separate HR people that will help you navigate situations, because what if an employee comes to me and needs to complain about the operations manager who is my family member? Does that employee feel that their voice is going to be heard, that it's going to be considered? If you don't have those things in place, then they can part ways with your company and come back and sue you, and it can cause you a lot of legality problems. So I would suggest having an outside HR person to be able to navigate that territory for you. The other thing I would suggest is that if you are in a family-owned business or any type of partnership, that you put it in writing. Because what if, someone passes away unexpectedly and their spouse wants to come in and run your business with you? Do you want to work with that spouse? Have you considered those things? I mean, these are things that when you're just starting out, you're like, really? I have to make these decisions now? Yeah, you really do. Because there's so many business owners I know that put off that foundational legalities, foundational paperwork, and really puts them in a bad situation later on. And then they're in a mess, and it's family and it's money and it's all intertwined. And, people part ways and don't speak anymore. And so I say to if you care about the people closest to you, you really care about your business partner, setting down and putting everything in writing does not mean that you don't trust someone. It actually has more trust to it, especially if spouses together in a business. You need to put it in writing, because there's so many things that life is messy. Let me just, I was going to say all kinds of things that sounded all proper, but life is messy and people be crazy. Things happen in life that we can't control. And, I make those little jokes and say those little things. I like to say little quips, but it's true. I think almost every day I will say to someone I know, I just sum it up. Yeah, people are crazy. You never know what's going to happen. So find someone. There's inexpensive attorneys who can walk you through all those steps. Have life insurance to back up everything so that not everything shuts down and your employees and your family members can still be taken care of if something unexpected happens to you. So these aren't the fun things, but Wonder Women Who Build do the hard things. We're bold, we're courageous. We think about the things that maybe other people don't think about. And hopefully today I helped you navigate something difficult and put some guardrails in place that allows you to extend even more grace into more areas, because good people do good things and impact the world. Thanks for listening to this episode of Wonder Women Who Build. Leadership isn't always pretty, but it's always worth it. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another woman who's building. Leave a review, subscribe, stay bold, Wonder Women. Until next time, keep building boldly and leading with heart.